Welcome as we explore Egypt and the Nile, the cradle of civilization. I'm Tim Taggart, and I'm delighted to be your host as I take you on a tour of Egypt, something I think that you should aspire to do in person. What a great experience. I've been to Egypt many times, and it's just a great part of all of our lives. I'll explain why. Let's begin going back to just as we contemplate Abraham and Sarah as they traveled to Egypt. The Lord had prepared him as a prophet to become a counselor to Pharaoh and manage things so that Pharaoh asked his opinion. And Abraham taught him astronomy and taught him how to get back to Heavenly Father, the endowment. And we have our record in both the Old Testament and the book, the Pearl of Great Price, the book of Abraham, that teaches us about the marvelous things that Abraham taught in Egypt and became really a legend and an important part of Egypt for centuries to come. Very important. And then we skip ahead to Israel and the 12 tribes, Joseph, who was given, you remember the multicolor coat representing undoubtedly the authority of the priesthood. And you remember the brothers that resented him, his dreams. He sold into slavery, travels to Egypt, interprets the Pharaoh's dream, and becomes really the vice Pharaoh. They give him a name in Egyptian, Zaphnath-Paaneah, which means prophet, seer, and revelator. And he becomes now the means of saving his family as they come to Egypt and then for the generations to come live as Egyptians. And we ourselves have ancestors that grew up in Egypt. If you're related to Ephraim and Manasseh, as the picture shows here of Jacob giving the blessings to Ephraim and Manasseh, Ephraim being given the priority, we're descendant of those people. For most of us, and think about that. We grew up in Egypt. Our ancestors grew up in Egypt with an Egyptian mother, undoubtedly speaking Egyptian. It's very much a part of our history. And it's not until Moses and his time now that the children of Israel are going to come out of Egypt. And so we have the story of Moses and that whole experience of coming out of Egypt that's so critically essential in our understanding of the scriptures, of the covenant, and of the covenant people. But we also have Jesus. Joseph and Mary and young Jesus are going to flee to Egypt. And keep in mind that when they saw the pyramids were already 2,000 years old. What a remarkable thing for us to look at these same pyramids. And now they're almost 4,000 years old, but still standing. And just a remarkable phenomenon. But the Savior himself traveled there as a young boy. Think about that and that connection. Well, these ancient, marvelous things that are remnants still in Egypt are something that are awe-inspiring, that are just fabulous. But think about also the underpinning philosophy of all of the Egyptians was coming back into the presence of God, being judged and becoming gods themselves. And this, in fact, this of the final judgment is a great thing for us who understand the temple in our own day. So let's begin now looking forward. We're going to fly into Cairo, and then we're going to go down south. We're going to travel on back up, and then we're going to fly home. So come with me on a journey. We'll travel down to Aswan at the very bottom, and then we'll come up north to Luxor on a cruise ship. So let's get started. Cairo itself is just amazing, ancient and modern, just bustling with people and with activity. A fabulous place. The markets, the bazaars of Cairo are just fascinating, an experience that you'll never forget. And the modern, we stay at a beautiful modern hotel, a high-rise with views that are just spectacular. And the Nile, which is so much the heart of Egypt itself, is right at our feet, and we see it from our hotel balcony. Well, and the night view is just spectacular. So in the morning, we're going to get up, we're going to fly south from Cairo down to the very south in Aswan, and we're going to visit the Aswan Dam. The Aswan Dam changed everything in Egypt because it controlled the Nile. So it provides power, electricity for much of Egypt, as well as having ancient monuments right within close view. And the control of the Nile and of the runoff and the erosion has been a great blessing to the people of Egypt to not have that flooding all the time and to be able to have control of the water. We get on boats and we're going to travel down the Nile to the Philae Temple. What a remarkable, wonderful experience as a group to approach this marvelous temple from the Nile and to actually have a boat dock, get off the boat, and then view this fabulous temple together. It's just remarkable, gigantic. And to see the detail these ancient people, craftsmen, worked on to create this marvelous expenditure. Hani, our guide that you see here in the check shirt, is one of the premier guides in all of Egypt. He was the guide for the President of the United States when he visited President Obama. He was his personal guide. And he is a marvelous teacher, and he'll teach us concerning the history and the mythology and the stories of these ancient people in these that are represented on the walls that are 4,000 years old. As the Nile rolls by, what an experience to be together as a group. And that's one of the choice experiences we have, is as you get to know the people on the group that are just lovely people, and as we learn so much together. We come from here now, from this temple, back to Aswan, and there we get on our cruise ship. We're going to cruise up the Nile. This is the Jamila, a beautiful, luxurious ship. So we see the felucca boats on the Nile, and we begin to travel north from Aswan up the Nile. It's actually down the Nile. The Nile flows to the north. As we float by, we see marvelous things along the way that are just remarkable, beautiful. It just takes your breath away. The beauty of the Nile is breathtaking. Some of these my images, and the boat itself is just beautiful. It's not what you expect from a cruise ship. Much more room, much more spacious and beautiful than you would expect. It's just really lovely. And now arriving at Komombo on our way. Notice where Komombo is, north of Aswan. And we arrive at sunset as the sun is beginning to go down. Look at this marvelous ancient temple. As we approach it, you see the marvelous architecture and the craftsmanship, again from thousands of years, and you see it still in remarkable condition, as it tells the story of these ancient people, of their beliefs and of their faith. Here's a remarkable place where they used to keep the crocodiles that they worshipped. And we go to the Crocodile Museum, and these are actually mummified crocodiles. Absolutely astounding. And you see here the monument. Notice up on the top of this stele, the crocodile, just remarkable. And so we have sunset and night on the Nile. In the morning, we're going to arrive at Edfu, a fabulous site. We gather together to once again visit these incredible temples here in Edfu, north, you notice, of Komombo. And you notice Horus in granite and the wonderful Egyptian. What a sight. What an amazing experience as we go into these fabulous temples. Notice the columns, and they're huge. This is actually the Holy of Holies of the Temple of Edfu in remarkable condition, and just absolutely fabulous. Notice the deeply engraved stones, and they're readable today to those who read hieroglyphics. What a marvelous experience. And to be able to see this and to experience it together as a group is just marvelous. We travel from the temple in Edfu back down to the cruise ship and have an opportunity of riding in carriages along the roads and seeing life there, which is just a delight and a great opportunity to photograph, which I love to do. And then we start traveling in the Nile again. So fascinating to watch life along the Nile as we float along in luxury. We have fabulous food, swimming pool, hot tubs, the whole works on this cruise ship. But we get to see life as it really is as we pass by the people on the Nile. What a joy and what a neat experience. It's so relaxing. It's absolutely wonderful. And the people enjoy coming by, and life goes on. I just love to see the real life of the people as we passed. Just a beautiful experience. Well, when we get to Esna, we had this wonderful little opportunity of seeing the Temple of Khnum, which is a remarkable, again, ancient temple right on the Nile, and with, again, fabulous people. I love the people, warm and beautiful and inviting. And back on our cruise ship and then heading north, the Esna Lock is one of the great locks in the Nile River, and you can see they're going to close the lock and then they're going to drop the water, and then out we go as we continue north on the Nile. Just a marvelous experience. We're going to arrive in Luxor. Luxor is one of the most beautiful, green. It's just a remarkable place, again with beautiful people, just a remarkable place. And the Luxor Temple is there, and we have an opportunity to visit it. It's just breathtaking. The stele out in front, you notice the sphinxes along the way. It's just a remarkable temple. We have an opportunity of learning a great deal, but also of seeing so much and experiencing so much, and of feeling as well. It's just a remarkable temple, a beautiful experience to visit it together and to learn so much as we have this experience together. Coming back from the temple, we do a carriage ride through Old Luxor and through the market, which is again a fascinating experience to see the people, to get to experience what their real life is like, and to do it from the safety of a carriage. Early the next morning, we're going to get up. Those of you who want to do it, this is an optional thing, but it's one of the great experiences of my life, is getting up early in the morning, getting on a boat, crossing the Nile, and on the other side of the Nile, we get on a hot air balloon. We see these fabulous things. We get in these fabulous baskets, and then we rise up with the hot air, and we do a journey over the temples of Egypt. Just an incredible experience. Here are the Colossus of Memnon from our balloons. Here's Hatshepsut Temple. What a marvelous experience. I can't put into words what it's like to silently float over this scene and to be able to see the sun rising in the east and the Nile River reflecting the light below in the perfect silence above. It's the most incredible sensation. Again, this is the Valley of the Kings. We ride right over the Valley of the Kings, and I can show you King Tut's tomb on here. We're going to see it up close and personal tomorrow, but what an awesome experience to be up in this hot air balloon. I've had people who have terrific acrophobia, fear of heights, and had no sensation of fear in the balloon. It's just such a completely different experience. You feel completely safe, and it's just awesome. Notice the fields down below, carefully cared for, incredible produce because of the fertility of the Nile River Valley, and what a joy. I spent my birthday in a hot air balloon. It was a great experience. And here's our group having landed, and our balloon is coming down. What a great experience. So we're going to travel now to the Valley of the Kings. And you see things on the highway that remind you how close to the earth people are. In the Valley of the Kings, we have this pyramid-shaped mountain that may be one of the reasons this was selected as the final resting place of so many of the pharaohs. This is such a rich experience. Here's the tomb of Ramses IV. You can see the tomb down in there. Notice the decorations on the wall. Just absolutely fabulous. It's so hard to describe and experience. Here's the tomb of Tutankhamun, King Tut. And here is the sarcophagus in his tomb, and here he is. This is the actual mummy of King Tut that they have just recently placed in the tomb. What a marvelous experience to see this, to experience it. The beauty is just incredible. And we're going to see many of the treasures that were found here up in the museum in Cairo. Here's the tomb of Ramses IX. Again, what a marvelous experience. Can you imagine this and seeing this together? It's just spectacular, just incredible. And here is the Valley of the Nobles as we come out of the Valley of the Kings, where the Pearl of Great Price mummies were found, where Lobolo found the mummies that were later given to Michael Chandler, remember, and the papyri that became the Book of Abraham papyri that Joseph Smith translated from, and we see that site where they're found. Also the Temple of Hatshepsut, which is remarkable. We saw that picture from the air. And the Colossus of Memnon, the great tradition that's associated with that we talk about there. And then go over the Temple of Karnak, which is one of the wonders of the world. Just incredible. Notice the sphinxes, ram's head sphinxes, with little pharaohs under their chin, lining the way to this marvelous temple. The columns in this temple are just hard to get your head around. Notice how tall, how huge, how beautiful. It's just incredible. Notice how many of us in the group, so everyone in the group went around it to see how many people it took to get around the column, and they're just absolutely huge. And notice the beauty, the colors and other things still on the undersides of the ceilings. Just remarkable. This is the Holy of Holies in the Temple of Karnak. Some marvelous reminders of things that are familiar to us from the temples of today. Two of the amazing stelae that you see, and the ram's head sphinxes. Well, we're going to say goodbye to Luxor and to the people, and we're going to fly north back up to Cairo and visit Cairo once again, stay in Cairo, but then we're going to travel to the Egyptian Museum. This is one of the great museums of the world, and what's found here is found nowhere else in the world. Look at the size and the breadth of this fabulous museum and the collections. The canoptic jars, the chair of King Tut. Notice the beautiful gold and enamel inlay. This chair just fascinates me. This is the arm of that same chair. So beautiful. Look at the delicacy and the humanity and the reality of the sculptures. And of course the golden coffin cases, which are just fabulous. And of course King Tut's mask, which is so much of it just solid gold. A remarkable treasure, just breathtaking to see. And again, the people are just remarkable, beautiful, wonderful people, and so friendly. I love the people, and I always get pictures of the people. Then we're going to go out to the pyramids of Giza, one of the great wonders of the world again. Just remarkable. Here's our group picture in front of the pyramid. The camel jockeys there and the marvelous camels. We're going to have an opportunity now to get ready and to get on camels, and we go in a caravan out into the desert, because you get views like this and pictures of the pyramids that you can see, all of the pyramids of Giza at one time, that are just remarkable, and you can't get those pictures from anywhere else. It's one of those memories of a lifetime that we enjoy together. Everyone has such an incredible experience. It's just beautiful and relaxing and wonderful. And we also now are going to come back over to see the Sphinx. and with the Great Pyramid in the background. Notice how huge this is below ground. Remember, there, at an ancient time, only the head poked out. But notice how long the legs are of this lion with a man head. Just remarkable. This is one of my favorite pictures. You're seeing the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid behind. What a marvelous thing. And we traveled down to Saqqara and the pyramids of Djoser and the ancient Memphis. Saqqara is a beautiful place. The drive down there is fabulous. This is the Pyramid of Djoser, and it's one of the most ancient pyramids in the world, the oldest one we know of. And here's a group picture of us with the Pyramid of Djoser, and it's in remarkable repair for being so incredibly ancient. And we have an opportunity of going actually into a pyramid, coming down the Pyramid of Titi, and we see the crypt inside, the funeral crypt. It's just, again, it's a marvelous experience. And crawling back up out of here, and so much easier than doing, you may have heard horror stories of going inside the pyramid, the Great Pyramid in Giza. You don't have that horrible experience here. It's a really wonderful experience, and everybody gets to go in without charge to you. And here's the Kagemni tomb, which is nearby and illustrated so remarkably. Now we're going to go over to ancient Memphis and the Colossus of Ramses, which is, again, phenomenal. It's hard to put into some kind of a verbal description what you see at something so magnificent and so grand in scale. What man can create is just phenomenal. Again, this is Ramses the Great, and it's a great experience. So we travel from Memphis back to Cairo, seeing the sights along the road. This is taken out the bus window at a local vendor. Notice selling fruit, girls visiting together. We even get an opportunity to visit the papyrus shop to see how papyrus is made, and we even get to buy, if you would like, the facsimiles from the Pearl of Great Price. This is my copy of the facsimiles that I've purchased, and it's my favorite souvenir of Egypt. Just remarkable. But the Alabaster Mosque, we often have opportunity to visit, and it's just a remarkable sight. As we look at the pyramids from a hotel overlook, it's just fabulous. We're going to do a sunset felucca boat ride on the Nile as we watch the sun go down as we float on the Nile. Well, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to return home, thinking about the experience that we've had on the Nile, visiting Egypt and learning such an incredible amount about where we all began, as well as one of the greatest civilizations of all mankind. What a neat thing it is for us to contemplate history, thousands of years of history, and of great significance to all of us as individuals. What a great experience for all of us to experience this world and to feel and understand that we're all children of our Heavenly Father. I hope you've enjoyed this exploration of Egypt and the Nile, and I hope that someday you have an opportunity to travel with me or with anyone else to this great place. Thank you.